guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm at a special location deep within Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, because guess what? We have something big that's getting some changes, and it's right here next to me. This is it. This is your updated, changed up, refresh 2025 Cadillac Escalade. But before we get into the big nameplate, from that premium craftsmanship American luxury brand known as Cadillac, let's talk about what's going on here. So Escalade, it's one of those vehicles that people aspire to have one day. And it's one of those things that's interesting because if you go back to the early beginnings of Cadillac, you would hear names like Eldorado and Biarritz and Brougham. But guess what? Today, because of that strong demand for SUVs, whether it be a crossover SUV or that full-on box frame SUV, the Escalade has really stood out from the rest of the pack. Now, Cadillac had to be careful with this 2025 update. You don't want to take the current fans of the Escalade and turn them off, but you also want to maybe potentially get some of those people that have been on the fence about getting a Cadillac Escalade and really bring them into the fold. So what you're going to find is sort of an evolution rather than a revolution of the Cadillac Escalade, and I think that was the best bet for them to go on. So why don't we go ahead? I'm going to show you what's different, what's unique, and what's a big standout on the new Escalade, and see it, is it that best new full-size luxury SUV you should be parking in your garage? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the overall dimensions, there's just some presence. There's a presence to an Escalade that just really brings you in like a moth to a flame. And speaking of flame, we have all new lighting right at the front of the business, and it's going to look familiar. So if you've seen our reviews of the Lyric and the Celestiq, what Cadillac has done is kind of bridge the gap between those vehicles. And I'm actually thinking that was a smart move because obviously with the new Cadillac Escalade IQ that's right around the corner, nice to have that style kind of come on both ends of the spectrum, whether you go ICE, like what we have here, or EV. So what you'll notice is that multi-stack, vertical stack, full LED, multi-beam headlights. Of course, we have the signature daytime running lamps, and this is something, lighting is such a signature Cadillac piece of style, going all the way back to early 2000s. It really took on its own form. And you'll notice how they brought, like I said, it's almost like a boomerang shape that they bring to the front end. Very, very similar to what you would find on the Lyric, but very, very different because if you'll notice, you'll see these nice defined horizontal lines just to give you that perfect attention to detail. Now, working our way down, just like we have that aluminum style finish, we have a little bit brought into the lower section. This is that all new reshaping for 2025. Lighting, and of course the whole front fascia. Now, as we come across that iconic crest, that Cadillac badge going back to the early 1900s, you'll now find illumination around it. So this is one of those things that coming down the road, you're going to be able to see this highlighted crest coming at you, and you'll know that it's a Cadillac, especially with the upgraded design of the grille. So we have these beautiful horizontal aluminum bars. Of course, you're going to have a forward-facing camera, make life a little easier when you're parking your Cadillac Escalade. And you'll notice how everything has that nice point. That's something that I've always felt, the design, it's always centered on that rise, and then everything kind of breaks away, pulls away from the center. Now, as we continue our way down, just a little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy. And I like the way that they added this little addition of design to the lower bumper area with the gloss black. But it's a nice balance of having some shiny, but also having body color and the gloss black. One of those things that I think, like I said, it's classy and modern and definitely luxurious. Now, as we rise up, you're still gonna get that strong, bold hood. And it's great how the existing hood blends in nicely with the rest of the front end of the vehicle. Underneath the hood, what are we looking at? They got rid of the Duramax turbo diesel engine. That's okay because guess what? You're still getting that 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, made it to that 10-speed automatic transmission. And just wait, because I'll have a second review of the vehicle next to me. They still are bringing the Escalade V with the supercharged power. But that's what you have underneath the hood. A little over 8,000 pounds towing capability. And that's the nice thing about the Escalade. You could look really good going down the road. You have all the fine, luxurious touches. But at the end of the day, you could even tow with this thing and really be in that style. Now, as we come around the bend, before we get to the wheel and tire, it's always about the details. And like I said, in the signature lighting, just the way they did that laser etching on the inside of the headlight housing, look at the way everything kind of loops around and intersects and connects together. It's that attention to detail that if you're looking at those other luxury brands, you're not going to see stuff like that on their vehicle. Now, when it comes to wheel and tire, I hope you are ready for the largest wheel setup on an Escalade, 24 inches in diameter. That's larger than probably the pizza that you ate last night. Love the way they did the laser etching with the Cadillac logo. Of course, they did this very decorative but also clean cover for where your lug nuts are, make it all look nice and sleek and unison. And then if you're wondering, well, Joe, what else is going on here? Of course, you're gonna be able to get the retuned suspension, that MagneRide suspension. GM is the one that developed MagneRide suspension all the way in the late 1980s and brought it in the 1990s. And now you see so many other brands using that same basis of technology for suspension. But crazy to see 24-inch wheel, 285 on the width, 40 series sidewall. And one of my favorite other things, everything is body colored around the fender openings. No flat black, no gloss black. Looks so sleek, so classy. Now coming down the side, of course you're gonna get color match on the mirror caps. You have your 360-degree cameras. And then from the side of the vehicle, like we try to talk about, this is a full-size vehicle. And of course, you're gonna get full-size luxury. For the first time, you'll see when we get to the back seat, the executive package, like we showed you on the Escalade IQ, it's in this ICE-powered Escalade. So can't wait to bring you into the passenger rear door. Now, of course, you'll notice that we have some more of that aluminum finish, ambient lighting on the door handles. And what's great is that, remember, these are not actual handles that you yank on. You push the button, open up the door, and that's going to obviously allow you to have those automatic running dropping boards. Plus, new on this vehicle, which I can't wait to show you, is we have power opening and closing doors. So that's something to think about. Working our way down, sort of like a butter knife. They took this aluminum trim, nicely done, just a little bit, it's just a little touches. It's not about going too over the top and being gaudy. They're able to balance the whole use of different materials without it being too in your face. Continuing down the side of the vehicle, love the way, of course, they take that bright, shiny metalwork, flare it out on our rear quarter window area, and then to finish things off, as we swing around the back, just like we started up front, they restyled the taillights, that signature Cadillac, great LED, super crisp and clear. On the running boards, just so you know, if you have a 2023, the signature like welcome lighting is individual LEDs. On this 2025, what you'll find is a diffused LED light that's running along the bottom of those running boards. It's just, like I said, the touches, the evolution over a revolution. Now at the back end of things, this is where things look great because you don't have a rear exposed wiper. That's one thing that I always thought was a smart move on this Escalade because it's just so good looking and you don't want to, you know, just stick something random in the center of the glass. Of course, you're still gonna have that nice long roof spoiler coming off the back, your Cadillac crest, which is also the button to open up the rear if you wanna open up the rear lift gate that way. New for 2025, we have some more of that nice aluminum style accents, and then dropping it like it's hot, what do we got going on? Those trapezoidal style exhaust openings. Now what's nice is that these are functional exhausts. Some of the brands, the competitors' brands, they put these fake things, there's exhaust under the bumper, but then they just put these decorative fake looking exhausts, which doesn't make sense to me. Nice to see that aluminum finish. You got a little bit more up top on this particular trim. And then of course, this cover is gonna come off and you have that little over 8,000 pound towing capacity with that V8 bolted to a 10-speed automatic. But why don't we go ahead, it's that time, let's get inside and see what's new for 2025 and this Escalade. All right, guys, we're inside the Escalade, and what I could do now is open up the door for you. So available power opening and power closing doors in this 2025 Cadillac Escalade. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking at the Navigator, I've been looking at those German Euro brands, but there's just something that Cadillac does for me. And I think a lot of it has to do with that my grandfather had a Cadillac, my mom has a Cadillac. I really have always wanted an Escalade. How much is it? No official pricing yet, but the good news is these will be available not too long from now. And of course, Cadillac is going to keep the pricing aggressive when it comes to those other brands that are out there. But let me take you on a tour of this one, especially because it has the executive package, and show you what Cadillac's bringing to the door panels. Love the attention to detail and style. So up top, you have that light gray finish with the contrast stitching, some wood design, real wood design with the veneer finish on it, and the aluminum trim. So we're taking that trim from the outside, bringing it into the interior. You'll notice all of the great stitching on the center armrest. And then up top, you see that large piece of silver there? That's actually where, if you want to manually open up the door, you can do that and the door will pop open for you. Continuing your way down, very large door pocket, easily go and get yourself 3 Coney dogs there. And then you'll notice that we have the AKG speaker system. Now, premium sound, standard is going to be 19 speakers. Then you're looking at 36. This one has 40 speakers because of the executive package in it. Going from the door panel to the dash, look at the finishes. There's the speaker on the right of the all-new infotainment system, all-in-one screen system. You have 55 inches of screen. Screen for the passenger, obviously the center screen, and then the digital gauge cluster, all uninterrupted from one side to the other. That is a big increase in size compared to the over 30 inches of what the 2024 model year Cadillac Escalade is all about. Nice to see that seamless flow from one side to the other, the wood finish, all of those attention to detail. And it's interesting because, especially in the center stack here, how nice and low that wood finish is, your AC vents cleanly hidden. And then what's really wild is that now you're going to have this other digital LED info sections here, where this is going to be your AC controls. This is going to be those things that are always accessible that you're going to want. So when it comes to the full AC, it's all in the screen. But the great news is, as soon as you start going, you put in drive, this is where that information is going to be, where you can make those adjustments. The dual climate, heated seats, ventilated seats, massage seating, all of those different things will happen within this screen. And on top of it, you'll also have the ability, like I showed you at the beginning, to open the doors all through power, which is nice, which you're just going to go right through the system here to do that. So nice to have that real easy use. See, all you do is you slide, and I could open up the driver door. And Stephen will show you that driver door open, and now I'm going to close it. These are things that, when you think of Escalade, it's like it should have been there, but it's crazy to see now. This is what brings the Escalade for 2025 to the next level. You got your wireless charging, you got more of that wood finish, all the intricate detail that is around the cup holders, your direct drive control knob with the Cadillac crest there, all illumination with your lighting. And when we talk about ambient lighting, we're talking about 126 colors to choose from with the ambient lighting. You know that one kid in elementary school that you hated that had that full book of Crayola crayons and he wouldn't let you borrow? Well, guess what? Now you have all the colors and you have it in your Cadillac Escalade. Tons of storage space. You could put easily 4 luxury Twinkies in here. Love the leather finish. The Escalade badge with the aluminum. Open this up. What do we have? We have our actual cool box with ambient lighting inside, USB-A, USB-C. These are touches that really separate the Escalade from the rest of the competition. And then for 2025, these are all new seats. Love the way you have the speakers, those AKG speakers in the headrest. Nice soft leather. The crest, the soft bolstering. Of course, full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver, heated, ventilated, the whole shabam. And then you look up top, we have that ginormous panoramic glass roof with that Alcantara style material. And there's literally speakers everywhere in this car. I'm surprised I'm not sitting on a speaker, because 40 speakers with the executive package. Why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this new Escalade. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of this 2025 Cadillac Escalade. Really nice how wide the space is to get in and out of the Escalade. Of course, you'll have those automatic dropping running boards, and you have that aluminum sill plate with the Escalade script, all illuminated LED. There's all your power seat controls to where you could get this to conform to your body type within seconds. And you have memory seat settings so that in case you let somebody that you really either like or love get behind the wheel of your Escalade, because if you don't like them or love them, I wouldn't let them get behind the wheel of my Escalade. Now, space, I'm 6 feet tall. The new steering wheel, of course, we're gonna have their signature Super Cruise. Like the way they brought a little bit of trim above the Super Cruise window here. You have your real nice stitching, all the leather, heated steering wheel, paddles on the back to go up and down, that 10-speed automatic. And it is, of course, electric tilting and telescoping on the steering wheel. And speaking of the shifter, for 2025, we now have it back on the steering column, because that really frees up the amount of room, especially for our screen and all the other controls. And then you'll see the continuation of that 55 inches of screen with your LED readouts, that OLED head-up display and everything else. Can't wait to show you this in a first drive. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to really the hotness in this interior. That's going to be the mid-row with the executive package. All right, guys, we are in this mid-row, and this is where you're going to spoil your passengers. This is where you want to like take the special people in your life. This is where you want to place them, because they are going to be wrapped as snug as a bug in a luxury rug, because this thing is absolutely phenomenal. And I think the big part I want to point out is with the executive package, you still have the third row. Some brands, when you go up to the special trim and you want to spoil the backseat passengers, you lose the third row. This one, you do not. And I think that was a smart move. Heated seats, ventilated seats, massage seating. You, of course, have your 12.6-inch screens on the back. And what I like about it is that it has such a solid feel to it. So if you have a person that's a little bit shorter sitting in the back seat, it's easy to tilt the screen, and it's got a nice solid feel to it. But everything up front gets dragged into the back. And I mean that in a good way, because of all the fine finishes, the wood, the cup holders, you have your USB-Cs. You even have that same screen that's up front. It's a little bit smaller, but the great news is that you have your dual climate control, all your seat controls, the power shades, all those things, all done from the back seat, including closing the doors. And opening the doors through the power assist. We got our chargers where you're gonna place your phones. Just really has all those touches. And then on top of that, you have your travel tray here that easily folds up and gets put away, but it's just nice to have this space to where you could really make your passengers feel like they're in their home or better, with the quality of all the materials. The speakers, like I said, are everywhere. The AC vents. Open this up. That's where you're going to store your trays, very nicely out of the way, super clean. And then the same style with the seat material, just like up front. Like I said, this is new for 2025. The way the stitching, the design, the whole shabam. And we have power seats, of course, for the passengers in this mid-row. But like I said, Steven's gonna swing in a little bit just to show you that third row. But of course, I want to be able to show you everything. So let's get to the cargo area and just show that this is still a usable day-to-day hauler for your family's needs in this Escalade. All right, guys, we always have to show, because you're always gonna ask, of course, you're still gonna get all of that great cargo space. Now, one thing to remember is I pushed the Cadillac Crest to open up the back, but it does have the proximity key. And I really love that proximity key. The reason why is because you just keep it in your pocket and it will recognize when you approach the vehicle. It'll set off a couple alerts and then it will open up automatically. So you don't have to do that whole hokey pokey of, you know, put your right leg in, put your right leg out, and maybe it'll open or maybe it won't. So nice to have, like I said, that seamless technology, but with the seamless luxury and all the fine finishes. But just like any other current gen Escalade, you're gonna get tons of space back here, even with the third row up. And of course, on the passenger side, you do have your buttons to lower that third row, and we do have a home power source. So if you take the kids to the beach and they want that one raft inflated and you wanna save your oxygen so that you could live, you could have an electric air compressor, plug it in, and get that raft blown up very easily. And then the last piece I gotta show you is, of course, our AKG, that subwoofer in the back. Nicely done. I can't wait to not only drive this, but also hear that AKG system with the 40 speakers. Trust me, it's gonna happen soon, so stay tuned for that first drive. But it's been great being here in Motor City with this new Escalade. Let's go ahead and wrap it up from Detroit. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day here in Michigan. Definitely want to thank the whole Cadillac team for having us out, special guests, to be able to bring this updated, changed up, refreshed, improved 2025 Cadillac Escalade to you. Let me know in the comment section, are you ready? Are you ready to pull the trigger and have this be that luxury SUV that just changes how you're able to live your life, do your daily driving chores, whether it's take the kids to school or go to work, and then also experience a sense of luxury and technology. Like I said, with GM Super Cruise, that really is second to none. Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section, but if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, make sure that you hit and say thank you, and I say thank you for having you be a subscriber. We got to thank Stephen Flood for capturing all the footage. And before we just roll it out, I want to walk over, just so if you're having a problem right now where you're like, well, Joe, I can't remember, what does the current Escalade look like? Here's the cool thing. They have one on display for us to really show you, you know, just when you thought it was good, then you look at the new one, you're like, this is good, but wow, that one I like better. But let me know if you've enjoyed this deep dive with the Escalade, and just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.